Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. We are still alive and kicking in Path of Exile's hardcore Legacy League. Solo self-out, as always, or well, as recently become an actual opportunity. This is the first episode I'm recording after about a week. The previous episodes in this series were all recorded just before I went on vacation. I had the unfortunate luck of ripping my character 2 days before I went on a vacation. So while I was streaming, I ripped my Wild Striker. So the rest of the stream was dedicated to basically just theory crafting a quick build. So it was literally just about 2 hours spent. And no, the story I already detailed it a little bit before. I've been finding a lot of bows and quivers, and I died and figured, like, let's play a bow character. I have not really played any bow characters before this, so no, what the heck, why not? The thing is, of course, I've played melee builds, I've played casters, I've got a bit of a feeling for that. When it comes to bow characters, I simply don't know what the good nodes on the skill tree are, what the things are to pay attention to, the obvious noob traps, things like that. So I was pretty heavily relying on stream to provide me with some useful input to basically correct the obvious mistakes I was already making from the get-go. And I didn't really have a lot of time to refine the build, so I just, after the stream, recorded the theory crafting episode, and then the next day quickly recorded the first 3 episodes in this series using that build. And of course I always record things in advance, so the Wild Striker build actually continued throughout halfway of the vacation, and then halfway during the vacation the new build started getting live, and I got a lot of feedback from you, so very helpful feedback, very useful feedback. So I'm gonna thank you, all of you who commented. It was pretty useful just to get some more feedback and just point out some of the obvious errors I made. One of the things that's really useful to go for a build like this is to pick up Vial Pack to get instant life leech. As such, this build will not have any life regeneration, and therefore life regeneration is not something to really prioritize on this build. So something like a Heart of Oak, yes, it gives you 8% maximum life. On the other hand, it also has some life regeneration. Might no longer be as good of a choice as it might otherwise be. On the other hand, 20% chance to avoid getting stunned is pretty darn useful still. Got the tip to go for a leech. Of course, in the later episodes, I already came to the conclusion, like, yeah, leech is gonna be useful. There was a couple of other things. I don't think I spotted the... let's highlight this one. Fangs of Frost down here in my first pass. This one provides us with 8% cold resistance penetration, which of course is very useful. Up here, Forces of Nature is more penetration. Over here, Primeval Force, that's more penetration. All of those are going to be pretty high up on our wish list. I actually have a skill point. We're gonna go into here from the top side. That way we get all the lights, the life leech. Pick up this one, and we're gonna be good. And then we can just path over to the side afterwards. Let's see. There were also some useful pointers about the mechanics of shock, and that's still something that gets me. I make the assumption that if I got a chance to shock, especially in a crit build, that I'm gonna shock things. Point is that the mechanics of shock, they state that for every 1% of a monster's life, it inflicts 60 milliseconds of shock duration, and there's a minimum of 300 milliseconds. So, translated into something that's useful, you need to hit a monster for 5% of its maximum life with a single hit that will be able to shock, and then you will inflict shock. So against trash mobs, sure, you can shock them. That's not going to be much of an issue. Thing is though, against bosses, you need to do 5% of a boss's max life in order to shock them. If you're dealing them 5% of a boss's maximum life with a single hit, they don't need to shock them. They just need to blast them away and just make them dead quick. So the only actual skill in the entire game that seems to be just reliably able to apply shock is of course Vaal Lightning Trap, which we actually picked up. After recording the last episode, I made a couple of changes to the build because we got access to some new skills, and I kind of got tired of just looking like something that's not fancy, so we got some shiny MTXs on just to make this a little bit more pleasing on the eye. But we picked up Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice, just to inflict some more damage. And just before starting the recording, actually, I vowed a lightning trap, and on the first attempt, applying a Vaal orb to a lightning trap gem, I got myself a Vaal lightning trap. So we can now throw out Vaal lightning traps and guarantee to shock our opponents. So that's pretty exciting. I do realize that running around with all of these Vaal skills, because there's literally 3 Vaal burning arrows on me, as well as a Vaal lightning trap, that's not going to be the most efficient way to play with those, because of course the souls get nicely divided between them. So it's going to be quite a while before any of them actually becomes useful. But for now, I don't really heavily lean on them just yet. And it is fun to be able to just blast multiple burning arrows at a foe. Another piece of feedback I got was especially tying back in with the whole shocking things is, well, if you're not going to shock things, then no, Siege Ballista for shocking might not be the most reliable thing. Maybe we could do something else with that. And so after looking things up a little bit more, it appears that most people tend to use Ice Shot as a clearing skill, and that they have a pretty strong single target skill next to it to actually deal with bosses. So we'll have to see how that goes, but I'm gonna keep the option open that maybe we'll actually switch out of some of our skills. Oh, of course, that's... Hey, does he have a new MTX? I think he did like a Vaal... He had a very big red arcing attack that he did. That's new, I think. Well, as I said, I spent a good 3-4 hours just going over different build variations in Path of Building and in the PoE skill tree planner. And I still haven't come to a final conclusion. I did get a build with a decent amount of crit and life and basically all the stuff that I want, including some pierce. If you look on the skill tree, there's this very nice piercing shots arc over here that grants you, I think it's 50%, yeah, 50% chance for your projectiles to pierce their attacks or their targets. So you're gonna have a pretty good chance of hitting multiple targets with your frost or with your ice shots. And of course the obvious thing is probably bring a decoy totem along just in case. Because, well, decoy totem is pretty darn useful. Also, until I get all of my high-end skills, bringing around a lesser multiple projectiles might not actually be a bad idea. Just to help clearing groups. Ooh, there's a ghost about. Yes, exactly. There's a ghost about, and he has possessed the rare that makes things immune. Yeah, that's you. I don't want to be in your face here. Okay, thank you for that prophecy Legacystones. I can do with some prophecies. I can do with quite a lot of prophecies, actually. Stonehammer, yeah, I'm drowning in those things. let's not bother for now. Let's see, we are actually still following the path. Excellent. Well, yeah, as I said, though, I've been going over your feedback. I still haven't gone over everything because there's quite a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that has some implications on just build design. And so in the coming days, I will just get around to actually wrapping up go through all the feedback and deciding on a skill tree that's better balanced. But as I found out after spending 3 or 4 hours just going over skill trees in the building tools, it is ridiculously difficult to get a decent amount of life on a ranger. It's where most other classes can get 180% life from the skill tree without too many issues. As a ranger, if you also want to do crits, then, well, settle for 140%.
I hate to pluck a pretty flower, even a poisonous one like you.
And if you manage to finally optimize it, then you might even get 160%. But getting 180%, that's, yeah, it's really, really difficult. Okay, we have arrived in the spider bear lair. Sorry for the cut over there, but I started coughing for a bit, which was not overly useful. Whenever I go on vacation, or whenever I have vacation, I always tend to end up with a cold. It's probably just a combination of lots of people, or in this case, just having lots of people around, air conditioning, big differences in temperature, and it all just on top of just walking a lot and things like that. Yeah, it's not the most ideal circumstances for staying entirely healthy. So for that reason, also just not live streaming this week. At least not the first few days of the week. I initially planned to just pick up live streaming Path of Exile again once I get back from my vacation, but first now I want to recover from my cold. Because if 15 minutes at a time is the extent of what I can manage, just continuously talking, and of course doing a live stream of multiple hours is not going to be overly great. But yeah, I will at least work on the theory crafting for a bit and just work on all the feedback that you've given. And somewhere this week I'll make a second theory crafting video, just lining out all the updated version of all the theories so far. And then we can move on from there. But for now, the goal I had to pick up the duelist leech nodes, that's a good note. Well, we need to be smarter to level up Herald of Thunder, sure. Picking up the duelist leech nodes, that's useful. So we got a decent short-term goal, and that just gives me a couple more days to work on the theory crafting. And let my voice rest for a bit. And once things are good again, and once we have a theory, then we can just move forward and do some more live streaming, and then of course we can actually do some of the time skips again. I got some pretty good feedback from you that you seem to enjoy the advanced pace at which we went through some of the earlier game, kind of in contrast to what's happening now. Of course, it's again that silly thing here on the left. I always make this mistake, or I often make these mistakes. On the other hand, sometimes the weaver is up. Oh, Kadibro, what will he have to offer today? Hello.
Might I unburden you of some cumbersome...
You have a yellow jade amulet. I think I'm gonna pass. Thank you, but no thank you.
From this relationship.
Ooh, silver coin on the other hand. I do like those. Horrendous Legacystones, you say? That's also rather appealing. But for now, we're gonna go hunt for a queen. But yeah, this is still gonna be my usual experimental style of playing. We'll just play what's fun, as long as it's fun. And as long as it's slightly effective. But fun is the important bit. Now having these two totems around is actually kind of fun. So, we'll see. Might keep it. Might take it out. Or might reuse it for some other purpose. I mean, no, on the other hand, I've never actually played with ranged attack totem, so that could be a fun thing as well. Well, for now, we're just gonna see if we can stick to the original plan of Ice Shot and our Siege Ballista. And then, if it's required or if it's necessary, then we'll switch. Oh, we got an Arsonist and we get the Queen. It's gonna be a dangerous queen. Okay, okay, it's not as bad as on the higher levels, but still, oh, dangerous queen is dangerous. Okay, if I'm tanking, then at least the totems have a chance, and that's gonna be... Okay. That spider seemed stuck for a while. And there we have it. Ooh, koppersuper. This is better than what we've currently got. It's got slightly more elemental damage. Physical damage is slightly lower. There's an increased crit chance. That could be useful. And it has both a low accuracy amount as well as a low physical amount. So we might actually be able to craft physical damage on it. No, wait, it already has the two other damage mods. No, okay, never mind. We can't do much with that one. Well, at least we managed to grab ourselves a Malgarus spike. Well, after we empty our pockets.
Hello.
Hello, Ghost. Goodbye, Ghost. I mean, most of our gear is, of course, still a trash tier. If we find any upgrades, then of course we'll take them. But for now, this is not an upgrade. That is also not really an upgrade. We already compared that one. Nope. Okay. Oh, we got ourselves a ring here. A little bit of extra damage, some life. That's a decent start. It kind of compares a little bit to our right-hand ring. This is 1 to 2 fire. This one is, of course, physical. Physical scales better. Lose a little bit of life, but we get strength. That compensates. That basically gives us a similar amount of life. I like it. We'll keep it. Let's see. 162 DPS becomes 163. Oh yeah, moving up in the world. Okay, we'll just put everything in the box. And then back down. And then back up again. But this time with actual loot and quest items. Very, very useful. And after this we'll move on to the second stop of this episode, and that is of course gonna be our buddy Oak, whom we're going to help. Oh, whoa, 4 to 7 physical damage, as well as some cold damage. as well as some lightning resistance. I think I want to keep that one. This bow, pretty poor base damage. It's a longbow, it's a low tier composite bow. But we can craft some percentage damage on it. And then we have some decent elemental value base. Maybe. We'll just put it in the stash in the use bit. And then we'll see about them later. For now, we're simply gonna move up in the world. Talk to Silk, yes, he's gonna give us a skill gem. Ooh, that's gonna get us faster attacks and physical projectiles, yes. And weapon elemental damage.
You help us?
I think. Oh, that's when the fish, of course, yeah. So, weapon elemental damage support, yep. So this is the level where we get all the good stuff. Potentially good stuff. Oh yeah, another interesting point is that while doing the theory crafting, physical projectile attack damage didn't seem all that good, because in Path of Building, the damage increase from this one was a lot lower than it was from added cold, just a flat added cold. The reason for that is that the base damage of Death's Opus is not as is pretty on the low end compared to a pretty decently rolled rare. So in the end game we might want to or need to weigh the advantage of having 2 extra arrows from Death's Opus if we actually get the prophecy. That was also another thing that's some of you remarked on, like, no, you're assuming you're gonna get that Death's Opus because you have Death's Harp, but are you really gonna get that prophecy? Because apparently the prophecy to upgrade Death's Harp into Death's Opus is pretty rare. But I think I've got close to 100 prophecy coins now, so we'll see how lucky I get. Let's see, we'll take a burning arrow out, put a faster attacks in for our ice shot, make that a little bit more better to use. Then we have Siege Ballista. Also needs a faster attacks. We have a blink arrow that needs a faster attacks. So all kinds of interesting things. Let's see, fire burning arrow. We'll just take all of you out. You are no longer welcome here. In that case, we can actually move this back to the link where we had it. So, blink arrow with faster attacks, that's just gonna be gorgeous. That means we can just attack a little bit faster and therefore move a bit faster. If we add the added cold, then the clone that gets summoned has a little bit more of a kick to it. Minions deal 75% more damage, so the blink arrow actually benefits tremendously from added cold damage and similar things. So physical projectile, I think we can just add that one to it as well. Excellent. We have a fair amount of DPS on our blink arrow now. And we'll just have to swap some things around to eventually get Siege Ballista in here with a 4-link, but for now we're just gonna stick with what we've got and move forward. So move these out of the way like that. And then unequip our prophecies or our Legacystones. They're not prophecies, they're Legacystones. And move forward. Well, here we can actually just reapply them again because they're not going to be active until we move up in the world into the next area. Cool. And some form of currency dropped somewhere. Emphasis on somewhere. There. Oh, that's a chance orb that we found anyway. Great alive, that's gonna be an upgrade. Most definitely gonna be an upgrade. Hey, into the wetlands we go. Is there anything that's worth Nope. We just dropped some skills and we didn't really gain a lot. Hey, and we got another Kadibro. 20%, but we hit it twice in a row. That's lucky duckies for us. But, yeah, iron rings. That's just at the end of the matter. I mean, you want the uniques from Kadibro, so yeah, that's... It's an opportunity for us to hang on to our coins. That's what it is. Okay. So, because it's pretty difficult to obtain a large amount of life as a ranger without going to the Sign Life Wheel, which actually requires quite some travel nodes and therefore is maybe not the most efficient thing in the world. Especially if you also want to get a lot of crit and other things. Then getting some decent movement speed and, well, as I'm noticing now, Decoy Totem is actually pretty darn useful as well, just to keep things away from me. But yeah, getting some movement speed to just get out of the way. Well, if you're not there when they shoot you, then of course you don't have to tank the damage. So this build might actually force me to become a little bit better at things like positioning and other useful things. Let's see, what can we do with it? Guard of pack of magic monsters, I like it. Nope. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, let's just throw about some shocking traps. Good. I actually used it. Superior increased crits. Now that is useful. Oh, it's the crit multiplier version. I'm not entirely sure about that one yet. I'd rather have the critical hits than more critical hits than less hits that hit off harder. Because of course, the more often we crit, the more chance we have to freeze things. Alright, we just got our first little bit of leech, that's gonna be useful. Also, the tree roots means we can clear that out. Waypoint. If you navigate to the... you are something I should be slightly wary of. Yeah. Okay, as I was saying, if you navigate to the duelist leech nodes via the bottom side of the tree rather than the top side, then of course you enter via the hybrid node, which means of course you will instantly start leeching your mana. For us, we go from the top side, so we get life first, and it takes a little bit to actually start leeching mana. But in the bigger picture, this means that we don't have to refund it later on. And we are gonna help Oak, not kill Oak. I was already hovering dangerously close there. Get ourselves a juicy 42 max life, which becomes about 60. With the little bit of bonus to life that we currently have. Also, we can go back to Lionel's Watch, get ourselves a skill point. I often forget to talk to Bestel back in Act 1 to get ourselves that skill point, but it is useful nonetheless. There we are. More leech. Awesome. So I'm actually gonna grab a life and mana leech before a vitality void, even though this is a so big node. I want that mana leech just to just slightly ease the burden on our mana, but we might even have to get a second node for the time being, just to increase the amount of points that we're, or the amount of mana that we are recovering. But for now, we have reached at least the progress that I was aiming for this episode. We completed the Bandits arc and we opened up the way back to Act 1. So next episode is going to be moving forward and we're going to close up Act 2. So we're still moving on pretty much according to schedule. A lot of things are in the works still, so somewhere this week we will get an update with a new build guide. Or not a build guide, it's not a guide, a new build plan, that's maybe a better one. And we'll just be following that from then on. And of course, all feedback, I read everything. I try to respond to everything, but due to my vacation, it was a bit harder to respond to the more in-depth comments that you left, because it's really difficult to work on theory crafting, detailed issues where you don't have path of building or know your usual tools in front of you. But with that, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.